You are listening to Arirang Radio's Wonders of Jeju. This is a segment where we tell you about the lives of people living right here on the island. I'm your host, AK. This is Humans of Jeju. Hello, welcome.
Hello,
welcome,
everyone.
welcome.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Always with a red hat.
Of course.
Of course. Do you wash that often?
Wow, that's a hard question. I never thought about that. Well, actually, it's not like I wear it like every day. I do leave it in the car so that when I come here, I do wear it.
Yeah. Okay. You're not wearing like a whole day.
But if you wash this hat, it gets ruined, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
is it going to be destroyed, like the shape
I'll
of
make
this
sure to wash it next time. Yes. Is it? Why?
I
Do you
was just
smell
joking,
something?
but
no. Okay.
no.
All right. Maybe I'll
just
get a new
making
one too.
No. I mean, you said you have like 3 of them, like
I
same
have,
ones.
well, the red one is this one. I lost the other red one, and I do have different colors, but they're all Boston caps. This is like the only team that I would wear on my head. Yes.
Okay. Then, please, wear some other different colors of your hat.
Oh, different
because
color.
I see only red hat here.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll try a different color. Yes,
yeah,
I do
why
have
not?
another one.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to, the topic. So, who is the human of Jeju we are introducing today?
Let's listen to today's human of Jeju.
All right.
안녕하세요. 저는 새 딸을 키우면서 3년째 물질을 하고 있는 3대 해녀 고명효입니다.
Okay, please.
Yes, so today's human of Jeju is a mother of 3 daughters and third generation Haenyeo, the female diver, who has been diving for 3 years, and her name is Haenyeo Go Myung-hyo.
Yes, Hyo. And it's not really easy to encounter a young Haenyeo. So you mentioned, she's like a 3rd generation. But
yes.
but often like I've heard, that household engaged in diving like activities, tend to stop to the like a second generation. But I mean, how did she become Haenyeo then?
So let's hear directly from her first.
Okay.
제주 해녀라는 것 자체가 그 유네스코 무형문화유산에 등재되고 이렇게 하면서 주목을 많이 받는 거에 비해서 당사자들이 그런 거에 마음을 쓰지 않다 보니까 다 버려지고 훼손되고, 예를 들면 뭐 불턱이나 탈의장이나 어떤 뭐 하나도 다 중요하게 생각하지 않고 다 버려지고 그러다 보니까 시간이 지나면 정말 그냥 다 버려버릴 것 같거든요. 제가 거기에 있으면 그 안에서 일어나는 일들을 놓치지 않고 기록만 해도, 찍기만 해도 중요한 것들을 놓치지 않을 수 있을 것 같아가지고 해녀가 되기로 했어요.
Could you explain?
Yes, so as mentioned earlier, she grew up in a family of Haenyeo, spanning 3 generations. Both her grandmother and mother were Haenyeo, and she naturally immersed herself into the Haenyeo culture. When Jeju's Haenyeo culture was designated as the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage and gained significant attention, however, she mentioned it seemed like the Haenyeo themselves didn't particularly care about the recognition. So as a result, spaces that are part of Haenyeo culture, such as like the 불턱, a place where a fire is lit to warm up before and after diving, and changing rooms where the Haenyeos change their diving suits, were being abandoned or damaged, which she felt sad about. So in response, she decided to become a Haenyeo herself, not only to increase the population of Haenyeos, but also to actively document and record the happenings within the Haenyeo culture. So she felt the need to capture and preserve the events unfolding within the Haenyeo culture, which she believed were being overlooked despite the increased attention to the overall culture.
So she's both now a Haenyeo and a recorder for Haenyeo culture. So, I mean, that's a significant undertaking. I'm really curious about the records she made us so far.
So it's an interesting story as well. So let's hear it directly from her first.
Okay, great.
엄마를 사진을 찍고 싶었어요. 근데 해녀들의 일터이다 보니까 해녀가 아닌 사람은 들어갈 수가 없는 거예요. 그럼 내가 해녀 되지. 나 될 수 있는데. 그렇게 해서 들어가서 엄마의 모습, 물질하는 모습 제일 많이 찍고, 또 우리 해녀 삼촌들, 다른 분들도 다 누군가 엄마잖아요. 그런 모습들을 이렇게 제일 많이 찍고, 두 번째는 바다 모습. 저희가 자라는 동안에도 되게 많이 변했어요. 연안 개발을 되게 많이 하고 그래서 보여지는 모습도 많이 바뀌어가고 있는데 바닷속 모습도 그거는 밖에 사람들이 잘 볼 수 없잖아요. 그래서 저는 그냥 카메라를 들고 항상 태왁에 이렇게 끼워서 가요. 그 시시콜콜한 거 다 기록을 하는데 물질하다가 새로운 신기한 바다 생물이 있으면 그런 것도 찍고 그 해녀 삼촌이 조금 약간 의식하면서 불편해하긴 하는데 제주 말 그대로 해녀들이 쓰는 말들을 그대로 이렇게 찍어요. 그런 거 남겨놓지 않으면 글로는 알 수 없는 그 있잖아요. 있는 그대로 이렇게 찍어놓는 거를 제일 중요하게 생각해서 열심히 가야 돼요.
Please.
Yes, so initially, she mentioned that she wanted to film her mother, who was Henya. So thinking she could just go into the sea where she used to play as a child to film her mother, she went there only to be stopped to find out that the entry to the Henya workplace wasn't allowed for just anyone. So she mentioned that she was a bit shocked at that moment, because for her, it was disappointing not being able to enter the sea filled with her childhood memories. This in part led her to decide to become a Henya herself, and also since both her grandmother and mother were Henya, it was easier for her to choose such path. As she started joining the work in the sea, she mentioned her first recordings included her mother's diving activities. And from there on, she also captured other Henya, who were not only someone's mother, but also wives as well. She mentioned that she made efforts to capture the Jeju dialect that they spoke in filming, believing that the feeling couldn't be conveyed as accurately through writing. So besides from that, she said she focused on documenting the intricate details of the underwater world as well. While diving for materials, she said she always took an action camera attached to the 태왁, a tool that Henyas use. If she encountered fascinating marine life, she says she would film that as well. So she considers capturing such moments important, and such importance drives her to dedicate herself more into the work of diving.
So after 3 years of shooting, she must have collected a significant amount of footage. So how does she organize and categorize them?
So she mentioned that she primarily categorized the materials by type. So sorting them into categories such as like sora, the conch shells, 성게, sea urchins, seaweed, etc. Then she further categorized individuals based on who they are. The rest is classified based on the conditions when entering the water, like on a rainy day, on a windy day, or on a sunny day. And additionally, she mentioned that she also distinguishes them between days when she walks into the sea and the days when she dives and enters it directly. So all these aspects are categorized and then stored.
Wow, it seems like, she got like her unique way of kind of sorting and, categorizing. It's really fascinating. So today we are discussing the story of Ko Myung-hyo, a third generation Henya and a recorder for Henya culture on Jeju. So let's, continue our conversation. So you mentioned earlier that she has been like recording the Jeju Henya's activities for 3 years. And when she records, does she also document her own thoughts and feelings in writing as well?
So let's hear that from her first.
Great.
그 할머니들이 70, 80대다 보니까 제가 어렸을 때부터 저를 봐왔잖아요. 그래서 저를 해녀 동료로는 잘 생각하지 않고 놀러 온 사람처럼 이렇게 같이 대해요. 제가 그렇게 쫓아다니면서도 그냥 같이 가는 시간에 이것저것 물어봐요. 삼촌 몇 년 언제부터 물질하셨어요? 이런 거부터. 어떤 기억 남는 거 있냐? 이런 거 하면 카메라를 딱 켜면 약간 뭔가 흐름이 끊기잖아요. 그럴 땐 그냥 계속 듣다가 집에 와서 그거 다 막 적고 그날 있었던 일 적고 사소한 거라도 거기서 있었던 일 적어서 다음에 보면 또 다르게 연결되는 것들이 있더라고요. 그래서 내가 뭐 이렇게 중요하다 안 중요하다 선택해서 적었다 보면 적을 게 별로 없고 남는 게 별로 없더라고요. 그래서 다 적었죠.
All right, please?
Yes, so since the Haenyeo grandmothers are in their 70s and 80s, growing up in the same neighborhood, she said she has known them from an early age. So she mentioned that they consider her more as someone who comes to the sea for fun rather than as a fellow Haenyeo. Being around these samchons, she mentioned that she asked them various questions during the time going to the sea. She asked questions ranging from samcho, when did you start diving, to like personal stories. She mentioned that she does have a camera in her hand and sometimes naturally turns it on. But since turning on the camera can disrupt the flow, she mentioned most of the stories are just listened to and later written and recorded at home. So additionally, she writes the events that happened in the sea each day. So rather than selecting what is important and what is not, she says she records everything from that day. Since when you go through a process of like selection, you might end up losing some of those
Wow,
records.
that's crazy. So she did a lot of interviews with the samchuns, and there must be like some memorable stories too. So can you share a few?
Yes, when the 70s and 80s year old Haenyeo samchon들 shared stories about their lives, she said she found that their lives were even more moving and touching. So according to her records, around the age of 10, Jeju girls were given taewak to play in the sea, catching small things to make them feel more comfortable with the environment. Now there are Haenyeo schools, and if anyone wants to become a Haenyeo, they receive formal education there. In the past, however, there was no such system, and children were just allowed to play in the sea until their height reached about 160 centimeter, which is a height equivalent to the age of a middle schooler. And around that age, she said they would go to the sea with most adults. So most of the Haenyeo samchon들 in their 80s began diving around the age of 15, and they've been diving for about 65 years.
Yeah.
And their long journey into diving started this way, enduring a tough and challenging life. What she found regrettable is that because these Haenyeo samchon들 have guarded the sea for a long time, they're not very fond of young people or others diving in the sea.
Yeah.
They have a strong determination to protect their sea since they have made a living through the diving. However, she feels sorry that their strong commitment to maintaining the traditional way of life might actually come across as being kind of closed.
Wow. So it seems, their long kind of established boundaries as Haenyeo are a result of years of experience. So nowadays, with the emergence of Haenyeo schools, like there's a gradual opening kind of of the path for people to become Haenyeo. And however, the decline in seafood harvest due to like sea pollution and, the level of like sea like, and, this appears to be a significant problem as well. So if the sea was abundant, the threshold of becoming a Haenyeo might, not be as high as, right?
Yeah, it is now. And she's also a graduate of a Haenyeo school. So let's hear directly from her about her experience at the Haenyeo school.
Yeah, great.
제주에는 법한 해녀학교가 있고 제가 나온 귀덕에 한소풀 해녀학교가 이렇게 두 군데가 있어요. 법한 해녀학교를 만드신 분이 그 해녀학교를 만든 이유가 그 할망바당의 가치, 공존하는 그 가치를 교육하고 해녀를 체험하면서 그 삶을 그대로 배워보자라는 취지에서 만들어진 학교예요. 사람들은 그 해녀 학교를 나오면 해녀가 될 수 있는 줄 아는 거예요. 근데 그렇지 않거든요. 왜냐면 102개, 어촌 개가 있는데 경제활동을 하는 공동체잖아요. 자기 밥그릇 나눠 먹는다고 생각을 하거든요. 그래서 계속해서 규칙을 많이 만들어요. 동네에 3년 이상 살아야 되고 해녀인 가족이거나 아니면 시집을 오거나 그래도 그 해녀 학교가 생기면서 이제 진짜로 해녀로의 삶을 살고 싶어하는 사람들이 늘어났잖아요. 그래서 어촌계 중에서도 그래도 마음이 열린 마을에서 이제 어촌계를 개방을 한 거예요. 개방을 해서 이제 인턴식으로 몇 년을 해봐라 이런 식으로 이렇게 이제 해녀들을 받기 시작한 어촌계들이 몇 군데가 있는 거죠. 근데 저희 동네는 저희 엄마가 50여 년 동안 막내였던 거예요. 보통 그 해녀학교에 온 사람들이 역사에 대해서도 듣고 다이빙 기술에 대해서도 배우긴 하는데 듣는 것보다 보고 배우는 게 더 빨리 배울 수 있다고 하잖아요. 그래서 과정의 하나로 해녀학교도 되게 의미 있다고 생각해요.
All right, please.
Yeah, so there are two Haenyeo schools in Jeju, one in Pophan village called the Pophan Haenyeo School, and one she attended, which is Hansupur Haenyeo School in Guidok village. The Pophan Haenyeo School was established by the head of the Haenyeo Culture Research Institute, to which she belongs. The reason for establishing the school was to widely promote and apply the communal culture of Haenyeo in their lives. Jeju Haenyeo have a unique communal culture, and one of the aspects is the 할망바당. As Haenyeo 삼촌들 who have been diving for a long time age and become grandmothers, they no longer can venture into the deeper seas.
Oh, okay.
So they designate 할망바당, and it is strictly forbidden for younger skilled divers to encroach upon it.
Wow.
So Jeju Haenyeo divides the harvesting zones into 상군, 중군, 하군, the upper, middle, and lower, based on their diving skills. And they use traditional tools like the taewak without relying on various modern tools suitable for like oxygen supply or material collection and harvesting as much as their breath can allow. So all of these represent the Haenyeo's wisdom living harmoniously with nature. So the Haenyeo school teaches Haenyeo the techniques, history, and culture.
Wow, interesting. So does graduating from the Haenyeo school automatically lead to becoming a Haenyeo?
Actually, no. As mentioned earlier, it's not easy to open up the access to the sea, which is essentially the economic activity base for the Haenyeos. So if Haenyeo numbers increase without control, they might lose their livelihood. There are actually 102 fishing villages in Jeju. And the village she belongs to, she mentioned, is particularly very conservative. Her mother has been the youngest Haenyeo for 50 years.
Wow.
So over time, rules were established in these fishing villages. For example, before, one had to reside in the village for over 3 years, and only those who have family members like mothers or grandmothers who were Haenyeo, or those who were married into Haenyeo families could become Haenyeo.
Wow, that's not easy.
Yes. However, with the emergence of the Haenyeo schools and their recognition by UNESCO, more people started showing interest in becoming Haenyeo. So in result, some more open-minded village leaders and Haenyeo association heads have instituted like internship programs for several years to recruit new Haenyeo.
I mean, it seems like it's really well structured, like in a school Haenyeo. So what did she learn at the Haenyeo school?
So she mentioned that the Haenyeo school primarily focuses on the techniques of diving. While they do learn about like Haenyeo history and culture, she mentioned that it didn't quite resonate with her during the classes. She says she truly actually learned about Haenyeo by directly diving, clashing, and experiencing within the community of the Haenyeo. However, she acknowledges that the Haenyeo school had significant meaning as one part of the process for her to become a Haenyeo.
So was her mother supportive of her like a decision to become Haenyeo?
So she said her mother was the one who was actually most opposed of her decision.
I guess so.
So let's hear the story first.
Great.
왜냐면 저희 엄마 때까지는 선택해서 이 해녀가 된 사람들이 아니잖아요. 엄마는 장녀고 그랬어서 학교를 못 간 거가 한인데 자기 자식을 다 이렇게 키워놨는데 자기 일도 있고 바쁜데 해녀를 하겠다고 하니까 쓸데없어 보이는 거예요. 그리고 이 고생을 왜 하겠다고 하는 건지 그거를 이해하지 못하니까 반대하다가 못하게 하려고 그럼 해녀 학교라도 가라 이렇게 한 거예요. 제가 또 모태 해녀예요. 뱃속에서 이제 8개월까지 물질을 했으니까 난 분명 잘할 거다 이런 생각을 가지고 해녀 학교를 갔는데 너무 잘하니까 엄마한테 나 이렇게 잘한다 맨날 자랑을 했어요. 마침 그때 우리 그 어촌계에 처음으로 신규 해녀를 받았어요. 그러니까 저희 엄마가 거의 50년을 막내로 살다가 신규 해녀들이 들어오는데 그 다음이 저희 엄마랑 저는 이렇게 보존할 가치가 있는 해녀와 그거를 기록하는 해녀의 연결고리가 되는 거예요. 이런 거에 대해서 되게 의미 있다 이렇게 생각하시는 분들이 촬영을 왔어요. 몇 회에 걸쳐서 하루 종일 촬영하고 인터뷰를 몇 시간 하고 하다 보니까 엄마가 편집된 영상을 보고 있으니까 자기가 더 이해할 수 있겠나 봐요. 그래서 이거를 왜 하고 싶어 하는지를 이제는 알아서 제일 많이 지원해 주죠.
All right, please.
So she mentioned living in a different era. Her mother actually didn't want to become a Haenyeo because she wanted to. She wished to continue her studies, but her grandfather insisted that she, being the eldest daughter, should engage in economic activities as a Haenyeo. As times changed, her mother's younger siblings were allowed to go to school. And given these circumstances, her mother, who had already established a career and raised 3 children, couldn't support her daughter's sudden decision. To become a Haenyeo.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for her mom to accept because she already had her responsibilities, and her daughter choosing to become a Haenyeo seemed like an unexpected change.
Yeah.
So her mother set a condition that if she really wanted to become a Haenyeo, she should attend the Haenyeo school. And without any hesitation, she registered at the Haenyeo school, and she expressed confidence in her diving skills because, in her own words, she was a natural-born Haenyeo.
Yeah.
So her mother had continued diving until she was 8 months pregnant with her, which contributed to her inherent connection to Haenyeo life.
Yeah.
At the Haenyeo school, she also mentioned that she excelled in diving and received praise as a student who consistently updated her records. So when returning home from school, she said she proudly bragged about her diving skills to her mom.
Oh, that's amazing. So it seems, her mother's kind of feeling weren't, easily swayed.
Yes, you're right. And her mother didn't want her daughter to endure the hardships she went through as a Haenyeo. So interestingly, her mother, who hadn't met a new Haenyeo for 50 years at that time, her fishing village accepted new recruits. As she found out, her mother, who was born in 1957, had been the youngest Haenyeo in that village for 50 years. And also, she, as a new Haenyeo and a Haenyeo recorder, found it surprising and fascinating that both she and her had some kind of connection, being like the youngest and being the newest. And as such story became intriguing for a broadcasting station, she said that a broadcasting station came and filmed the documentary about the Haenyeos from their village. Even though her mother had opposed her becoming a Haenyeo, watching the interview in the documentary helped her mother finally realize why her daughter wanted to become a Haenyeo.
Yeah.
And she mentioned that through it, her mother realized that it wasn't merely for livelihood, but to document and promote the value of Haenyeo culture was what her daughter wanted to do, and she found it very meaningful. So since then, she said her mother has become a reliable supporter.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. So continuing the Haenyeo legacy as the youngest daughter of the youngest Haenyeo for 50 years. And, that's a profoundly meaningful story indeed. So I'm curious to hear that, more about both of their journeys. And let's continue. So we mentioned earlier that her mother, who initially opposed to, her becoming a Haenyeo, has now become a strong supporter. So I'm really curious about the stories that, how that follows. And, as a mother and daughter and as colleagues and as a, mother who has been a Haenyeo for over 50 years. And Go Myung-yo, who started this as Haenyeo recorder. So how do they, spend their time together as Haenyeos?
So it's not common for parent-child relationship to turn into colleagues. So first, let's hear the story from her.
Okay.
저는 엄마랑 같이 물질을 해요. 옷 입을 때부터 엄마가 다 준비해 놓고 도와줘요. 그러면 저는 옛날 어렸을 때로 돌아간 느낌이 들거든요. 근데 그때 어렸을 때는 엄마는 계속 일하러 가셔서 엄마랑 같이 있는 시간이 항상 부족하다고 느꼈었거든요. 내가 엄마가 되고 나서 엄마의 그런 돌봄을 받잖아요. 그러면 엄마가 젊었을 때, 우리가 어렸을 때, 그때 우리 엄마는 어떤 생각을 가지고 이걸 했을까? 힘들었겠다. 이런 생각도 많이 해서 그 옛날에 내가 엄마랑 있고 싶었던 시간, 그거를 좀 보상받는 느낌이에요. 햇빛 이렇게 막 쏟아지면서 엄마랑 태왁을 뒤집어서 같이 이렇게 이동하면 정말 평화로운 시간이거든요. 그러면 어떤 때는 막 가끔 막 눈물 날 때도 있고, 엄마도 그렇고 저도 그렇고 남은 같이 지낼 수 있는 날이 그 이전보다 많이 없잖아요. 근데 앞으로 되게 그래도 우리가 같이 물질하고 이 시간이 보장받는 시간이고 너무 평화로운 시간이고, 그래서 그 시간이 너무너무 소중해요.
All right, please.
Yeah, so she mentioned that she now works with her mother in gathering marine products, doing 물질, the water work. Since her mother is a veteran Haenyeo, she said that she helps everything from like preparing the clothes to being by her side. So she also mentioned that it feels like going back to her childhood. Like many mothers of Jeju, she said her mother had a little time to spare between farming and Haenyeo activities. So just like her mother, she practically grew up in her grandmother's hands. So she always felt that there was not enough time with her mother. But now she feels like she's receiving care from her own mother again. So it makes her think a lot about what her mother might have been thinking when she was young and when she herself was a child. So she often reflects on the difficult times that they might have faced and said that spending time with her mom now gives her a sense of compensation for the time that she wanted to spend with her when she was a child. So she finds it peaceful and cherishes the precious moments, especially when they walk together carrying their tools on sunny days. And even amidst that, sometimes even tears come down her eyes. So since the days they can spend together are fewer than before, she values the guaranteed time that they have during their gathering activities and describes these moments as peaceful and incredibly precious.
I mean, imagining, you know, like both of them, like walking, like on the like seaside together. I mean, it sounds very, you know, cute and beautiful. All right, so thank you so much for this precious story,
Yes.
you know, together as always. And, you know, and hope you have a, you know, enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm
Yes,
going to see you
thank you.
next week.
See you next week.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the segment. If you're curious to find out more about Jeju, we encourage you to go check out our website at arirangradio.com/Wonders of Jeju, or you can check out our Facebook page at Wonders of Jeju, as well as our Instagram account at WOJ_Arirang. We are going to take you on a journey to learn more about what's happening on this island.